first of all, I want to tell you that Mary said I have to carry this call. She also said, well, if you're going to do it with me, John, you always take the whole screen, that you're so big that you take the whole screen. So I was reading somewhere that if I wear black, it has a slimming effect. So I'm wearing black today so we can fit on the screen. That's I read that somewhere.
All right. It works that way.
So I got a lot to cover. It's been a while since we talked about the market,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and I'm going to start by saying inventory is still low. I'm going to touch on inventory, but inventory is still low, and it will continue to be low in historical numbers. So that always favors the seller.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But when I say that, you say, well, if it favors the seller, then the poor buyer. Well, the reality is that there is more inventory. Inventory is growing, and that favors the buyer.
Sure.
So, what we believe and what we study and what we hear going forward, being a prognosticator in 2025, that it will become a more balanced market. It will start to even out a bit. Now, that's across the country. Our area, Greater Washington, the DMV, and certainly where we service, it's still advantage seller, a little bit more seller, but with a little bit more inventory. Now, everything is going to be polluted. Now, everyone has heard about AI. Mary, what does AI stand for? AI.
Yeah, artificial intelligence.
Okay, it's hard enough being intelligent these days, and now we have artificial intelligence. That will confuse people even more because it looks so real that even the non-good information that is polluted, is diverse.
Yep.
So I say this, and this is a little crazy, but most agents, and I have notes here, so forgive me, most agents know what's happening. Most realtors know what's happening. Good agents understand what's happening. So we have most. There are a lot of good agents. They understand what's happening. Great agents explain what's happening. And with AI confusing everything, more ever than not, you have to have a great agent to be able to sort through things, to dig through things, and that's where we are today, and that's who we are proud to be. But going into 2025, we're in. This is the I think the third week, maybe it's the fourth week. The way things fall, it is. There's reason to be optimistic as a buyer and a seller and also realty agents. Prices will continue to go up, but at a healthy pace. That's here and that's elsewhere. There are a couple places in the country where things aren't going very well. It's gone down a bit, but our area is not one of them. It's not going to be one of them. So historically, our area, say I live in Orange County, which is the northern part of central Virginia and the southern part of northern Virginia. 2 to 4% appreciation was historical.
Right.
Now, if you live in Boston, it could be 18%. If you live in parts of D.C., through the roof. If you live in Vienna, but historically, it's 2 to 4%. I recently studied 21 forecasters, and when you average everything up, looks like a 3% increase. They're predicting a 3% increase. So the normal is 2 to 4, 2 to 4, 2 to 4. Normal growth the crazy growth that we've seen in during the COVID years and some of this crazy times is not good. But historical growth is reasonable and predictable. And that's where I see us coming. Now we have some data from the Fredericksburg Area Association of Realtors. Our team, we have, and our team, our members, our teammates are part of Prince William, Northern Virginia Association of Realtors, Fredericksburg Area Association of Realtors. But here's data on Fredericksburg. Now Fredericksburg area is small part of Culpeper, Stafford, Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania County, Orange County, Louisa, part of Caroline County. So it's a pretty wide area. Mary, what does that data show
Yeah,
you?
John, I mean, all of the main areas that we cover are somewhere between 3 and 7% growth for the year for 2024, with Orange County being the highest at 7%. All the others are closer to 3 to 4%. And this year, like John said, experts are predicting more of a 2 to 3, 2.9, I think was the number that they came up with as an average increase in 2025. It's a complex market right now. There's still, a lot of advantages for sellers, but it also really depends a lot on where you are and what your price range is. So there's a lot of different factors, and there's still a lot of challenges for buyers right now. Interest rates still high, still not where people were expecting them to be, and not where they were a few years ago, which we'll probably never see again. How low they were in 2020, 2022, that time frame. They're expecting for this year, the experts are predicting that they'll be somewhere between the low 6s and the high 6s, with an average prediction being around 6.3%, I think, by the end of 2025. So they're not predicting that they'll come down drastically, but that they'll kind of balance out in the lower 6s. A lot of people are living in houses that they purchased in the past few years, and they're sitting on 2.5% and 3% interest rates, and it just hasn't made sense for them, to give that up and to move. And the lack of buyer traffic has become a challenge for sellers, even though because of the lower inventory, they're still considering it a seller-favored market. So there's just a lot of different factors, and some of them kind of contradict each other. So it's just really important to, that we continue to study the market, watch the market, be familiar with every different area that we're working in, and be able to identify trends as they're happening.
So the 3% interest rate, it probably isn't going to be in my lifetime. Maybe yours. You're a little bit younger than me, a lot younger than me, but. So let's just put that aside. There have been people that have been adversely affected, and it's tough to get in the market. So the average in 2024, the average home sale price in FAR across that region is $456,000 roughly. In the United States, the average price, I just saw some stuff, was like $389. The average rental in the United States is $2,000. So I'm waiting for interest rates to come down significantly, which aren't going to happen. So I'm going to be waiting for a lifetime. And I'm going to I'm going to continue to rent for the next 3 years at $2,000. It's more than $2,000, at $2,000 a month. So I'm an old PE major. Math wasn't my favorite, but 12 months, $2,000, $24,000 a year, 3-4 years, close to $100,000. If you bite the bullet and get into a house and just do the math on a 2 to 4% increase over 4 years, you're a lot better off than renting.
Yeah.
Or maybe you want to stay in your mother's and father's basement. Hey, I realize that happens. But the sooner that you get in the market, the sooner the market will start working for you. The best time to buy a house was 5 years ago. Best 5 years ago. Yesterday's the best time to buy a house when you consider how the real estate market goes. But the reality is we're going to be in a 6 to 6.5% market. And those entry level, those folks, are absolutely struggling. So 3 years ago, you buy a house and you have a mortgage of $1,200. Now that same mortgage is $2,100.
Yeah, you can't get a
Yeah,
little
that's
$1,200
tough.
a month. Yeah, and I mean, John, that's the thing. Looking at all of these different areas, the price of the average house for the year. I mean, Stafford County 520,000, Spotsylvania 450, Culpeper 485, and Far in general 456 for 2024. And combined with the interest rates where they are, affordability is just such a major challenge for people right now.
Now there are some, so the entry level folks are challenged. If you live in Fairfax and you're ready to get out of the rat race, and your house that you bought for $250 or $300 is now $750, you're coming south. You're coming to Orange County. You're coming to Frederick. Come to Orange County. Why has Orange County prices gone up? Because there's value there, but not to mention lower taxes and all that sort of thing. Because a house for $750 in Fairfax County is $425, $450, $500 down this way. But I think in general, to the whole market who do require a loan, buyers are getting a little bit more acclimated. They're not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. They're not happy, but they're getting acclimated. Interestingly enough, last year we sold, not as many houses. Absolutely not as many houses. We had, I think, 8 or 9 homes at $1 million to $2.5 million between here and Loudoun County, and every one of those properties were cash for those $1 million. Just this week, just since yesterday, we had 2 homes go under contract. One out by Lake Anna in Bumpus, and the other one in Culpeper, ranging from I think like 500 to almost 2 million. And both those properties are not impacted by, the buyers aren't really impacted by the interest rates. There are people coming from the north, actually. But if you are, you need an agent, and I saw that we're expecting new and existing homes to grow, to see more sales and increase. And I saw 3 things. People are willing to move because they're getting used to things. There's increased inventory, which is helpful. And they are slightly better mortgage rates, not significantly, but slightly. And what we're projecting, and when I say we're, I'm speaking for the experts of which I listen to, that 2024 to 25, they're seeing that there's going to be maybe there are going to be 15% more homes sold year over year, which if you're still in the real estate business, that's a good thing. If you're still buying or still selling, but the reality of the circumstance is the real value of a real estate agent is having a pro more critical than ever. In surveys done, even today, you as the client there's more data available on the internet. You could look on the internet. You could find more homes on the internet. But by and large, the surveys done by clients, they're talking, saying the value of a realtor. There's a number is finding the right house. Is having a professional, even though you could search all over the place. So, that's what buyers want. That's what buyers are looking for. So I believe I'm optimistic there's going to be challenges. I'm optimistic about what's going on forward. But back to FAR. Across the region, homes increased at a little less than 4%, virtually 3.9%. Listings were up by 5.4%. Sales were up by 1.5%. Days on market over 30 days. I mean, it's again, that's normal. I remember a day when it used to be 100 days.
Sure.
And the sale price to list price, I listed for $100, you're selling for a little less. Now that doesn't mean you're losing money, because you may have bought the house for $50, but it's not going over a lot. Now that said, again, this weekend we had one example of a crazy situation. It was almost like 2 years ago. But the reality is, you need to price your home right. You don't price your house on what happened 3 years ago. Price your house on what's going on today.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just and this is just we don't have numbers from January. Obviously, we're still in it, just 3 weeks in. But I have definitely seen a bit of an uptick in activity the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it was just people who decided to wait until the beginning of the year, or what the case is, but there have been a lot more homes in several of the areas that we work in going under contract, and buyer traffic has definitely increased in the past few weeks. So it'll be really interesting to see what January's numbers look like as opposed to 2024.
Yeah, I mean, the weather's cold. I mean, this is typically a cold period, even in terms of real estate activity, but we're seeing buyer activity, and usually there's a 45 to 60 days when buyer activity happens. It rolls, and more things happen down the line. Hey, before we go, I want to talk about a couple things. One is, and my wife told me, and I'm coachable on most things. My wife said, John, make sure you remind. We have the Licata Live, but once a month, the fourth Friday of each month, we're going to have real estate real talk. And over a 3-month period, the first one's going to be a loan officer expert talking about the qualification process and what's going on there. Mm-hmm. The second one's going to be a home inspector. And what's going on there, and the third is going to be an insurance agent on homeowners, which are being affecting mortgages, mortgage qualification right now.
Changes.
Lots of changes. I know we know it's the fires and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Everything is getting very, very, very tight on that. So we have that's coming, and some of you have already seen this. We've already started marketing it. We're going to have a sellers seminar on February 22nd. Postcards have been mailed, out to 1,300 people. We have it's a seller seminar, real estate seminar, open to anyone and everyone. We're going to be hosting it at a really nice place in Lake of the Woods Clubhouse, but it's open to anyone and everyone. We're going to have refreshments and food, and experts talking about what's going on in the real estate market. And if you go to that and register, and then you attend, and you decide to list, and you could be listing a year and a half from now. People should come to this if you're interested. But if you use us, there's going to be a gift, a sizable gift, a free home warranty on your home if you register with us and decide to go. Anyway, Mary, do you have anything else to say?
No, I think we've covered everything. Definitely please register for our seller seminar event. As John mentioned, we're going to have some refreshments, and there's limited space, so we want to make sure that we know how many people are coming, and we're prepared for you. But it's going to be February 22nd, the Lake of the Woods Clubhouse, like John said, for anyone who is even considering selling your home anytime. And it'll be great to get ahead of that spring market and just really find out what's going on in the market before you list your
If you're
home.
curious, if you have any interest in it, you're just a curiosity seeker, and you're not going to do anything for, it's worth knowing, because we find that our best clients are educated clients, and they understand what the heck's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see you next month with our market update, and please tune in next week on Tuesday for Pat's Real Estate Real Talk with our mortgage professional.